Hello, everyone. I'm Clara Jones, and you're joining me for my self-publishing Q&A live series where I go over the 52 weeks worth of strategies to write, publish, and sell your book in a year in 52 weeks. We are on week 34, which means we're talking about publishing platforms, everyone's favorite topic. There are a whole range of publishing platforms available to those of us who wish to self-publish our books. Simply search the self-publishing platforms online and you will find a list of articles touting the 17 best self-publishing companies, or the best free self-publishing sites, or the best self-publishing companies to support your writing career, or the best self-publishing companies that you should know. There are a million of these articles. Each of them explain their rigorous vetting process and subsequent qualified picks. And while some of the same platforms do show up on multiple of these lists, the rankings are never predictable. Most would recommend platforms like Amazon KDP, Apple Books, Barnes Noble Press, Draft Digital, Smashwords, Ingram Spark, Rakuten Kobo, Lulu, BookBaby, and Publish Drive. Those are usually the ones that show up the most often on these lists. But who really knows which one is best? It boils down to how much you want to spend, where and how you want the book distributed, how you want to treat your copyright permissions, and what kind of back-end reporting you want for the data. I'm not going to list the various features of each of the above platforms. That's what those best of articles are for. What I will do is tell you why I chose the platforms that I did when I publish my own books. I wanted a solution that was low cost with wide distribution while also keeping control of my own copyright. And out of all of those available options, I found that Ingram Spark and a company called Vervante to be the platforms who are most suited to my needs. So Ingram Spark is the one that most people have heard about. It is a branch of the Ingram Content Group, which is a subsidiary of Ingram Industries, which is a Tennessee-based manufacturing company. The Content Group is a service provider to the book publishing industry. And it is the industry's largest active book inventory with over 7.5 million titles. For printed titles, their warehouses distribute to bookstores and libraries across the US, but they also operate print-on-demand facilities in Tennessee, Ohio, California, the United Kingdom, France, and Australia. This is in addition to the digital distribution of ebook titles to independent bookstores, libraries, and third-party retailers like Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Scribd, Target, Walmart, so on and so forth. So if you choose to upload your book to the Ingram Spark platform, it can be distributed via any of those channels that I talked about, whether they are print distribution or ebook distribution, and it's free to upload your files. You have a 90-day or 60-day window, I forget the exact window, to update your files, change your files, alter your files in any way that you want for free. If it's after that 60 or 90-day window, then you have to pay around $49 to update your files if you so desire. They also allow an option to retain full control of your copyright permissions. You just need to buy your own ISBN, which is an International Standard Book Number, instead of using their free ISBN offer. We will get into that in week 51, so don't worry about that for now. In terms of back-end reporting, there are dynamic charts that show you where your books were sold, what format was sold, whether it was hardback, paperback, or ebook, and how many. Your dashboard automatically tracks your account's bestsellers, and you can even see where titles rank in the overall catalog per genre. So in that catalog of 7.5 million titles, They categorize books by genre, and you can see where your book ranks within those genres. So, for example, my debut novel ranked in the top 100 of all Ingram fiction, fantasy, romance titles within 15 days of launch. And so I was able to track that ranking through the Ingram Spark dashboard, and I could see that my book was sitting at around 89 on the Ingram fiction, fantasy, romance title ranking for that category. They will also process all of the exchange rates for you. So if your book sells 5 hardback copies in France, then the platform will gather the sales money for you, exchange it into US dollars or whatever currency you choose, and then direct deposit it into your bank account. The only downside is that it takes 3 months from the date of the purchase of the book for the net income to be deposited into your accounts because of all of the tracking that needs to happen behind the scenes in between those two events. So if a sale comes through the Barnes & Noble website in Germany, Barnes & Noble will get the physical book printed in the France-based printer from Ingram and ship it to the customer internationally based on the customer information that they got through Barnes & Noble. Then Barnes & Noble will need to take their percentage off the top of the sale, pass the rest on to Ingram. Ingram will take their percentage, and then they will deposit the rest of the funds into your account 3 months after the point of the sale. Keep in mind, though, that you will still probably get a higher net income from this particular sale than if you went through a traditional publisher. The percentages of profit through Ingram is very typically higher than the percentage of profits that you would get through a traditional publisher contract. By using Ingram Spark, my novel was ranked at 81 to 89 out of all the fantasy, romance, fiction titles 15 days after launching, and it sold in 6 countries 3 months after launching. So they also have a diverse array of supporter services like marketing, editing, formatting, book covers, and more. So I usually recommend Ingram Spark to writers who are looking for a comprehensive, wide distribution self-publishing platform. Now, if you are looking for a print-on-demand company that offers products that go beyond the usual paperback, hardback, and ebook options, I would like to introduce you to Vervante. Vervante is a women-owned printer in Utah, and they offer both warehousing and print-on-demand services for books, journals, planners, workbooks, card decks, and binders. This is a super valuable service because Amazon and other third-party retailers often put restrictions on books that have over 10% blank space per page on average. So this applies to journals, planners, workbooks, those kinds of things that provide room for notes, activities, exercises, journaling, etc. So they often offer hardback, paperback, polypaper, and plastic overlay cover options, as well as spiral-bound formats with metal or plastic. They do provide paperback and hardback printing options too, if you want to go that way. But they can also do additional options like interior cover pockets, page tabs, ribbon page markers, foil stamped covers, elastic straps, metal corners, stickers, and perforated sheets. Once you upload your files to their website, it costs $35 to do so. You can choose between listing your product page in their digital bookstore, listing your product page on Amazon, ordering bulk and shipping the products yourself, ordering bulk and having them ship from their warehouse, or any combination of those options. So if I got a journal printed through Vervante, I could have it listed in their digital bookstore, I could have it listed on Amazon, and I could have it listed on my website. I could ship and fulfill the inventory orders myself from my house if I order in bulk and have them shipped to me, or all of those orders can be shipped and fulfilled from their warehouse. You just have to pay for warehouse space, which is about $2 a month for warehouse space if they ship and fulfill from their warehouse. This is where I get all of my journals and planners printed. And I've chosen to list the product pages in both their digital bookstore as well as on Amazon and my own website as well. This way, I don't have to worry about inventory management. Each sale goes directly to them, and then they will ship it to the customer because they either print on demand if it's a paperback spiral bound, or if it's a hardback spiral bound, then I have to have an inventory that they manage in their warehouse. Unfortunately, their back-end reporting systems are a bit antiquated, but if you dig far enough, you can find statements for each order that comes in, what fees were paid, and the customer's contact information. And this contact information is super helpful, something that Amazon doesn't offer, because it helps you build your email lists and allows you to follow up with the customer after the sale for things like reviews, surveys, and general feedback. You also get to retain full copyright permissions for your titles, which not all publishing platforms allow. If you choose to take the traditional publishing route later on, for example, there are no copyright issues to navigate if you printed through Vervante previously. So your exercise for this week is to research your options for publishing platforms and choose one. Then set up an account and just start poking around. Don't set up anything yet. Just start seeing what's available in the back end on your dashboards. Don't worry about uploading anything or choosing any options for your book. The main focus right now is connecting the account with your bank account and giving them the appropriate legal information for your business. So this brings me to a note on business structures. I highly, highly, highly recommend setting up an LLC, which is a limited liability company for your writing business, if it's not already housed under an existing business structure. Also, set up a business-specific banking account for all income and expenses for your book, for your writing stuff. As an individual, your writing income will be automatically classified as a sole proprietorship by the IRS, the Internal Revenue Service, when you report to them that you made over $600 in business income for a given year. If you want it to stay that way, go for it. But I will warn you that you will have much more legal protection if you file as an LLC versus a sole proprietorship. It costs around $300 to register your business as an LLC and get the appropriate federal, state, and local business licenses. This could save you a lot of trouble down the road, though, because an LLC, a limited liability company, protects your personal assets as wholly separate from your business assets. So if you do get sued somewhere down the road for some reason or another, this means that the entity who is suing you can only access your business assets instead of being able to access your home, your retirement accounts, and or your car, your personal assets. So if you are looking for more information on business formation, check out Bernard Kamaroff's Small Time Operator. This is the book that I recommend to pretty much everyone when they're starting out. So most of these publishing platforms, this is why I'm telling you this now, are going to ask for your legal business identification number. So when you're setting up either Ingram Spark, Vervante, Amazon KDP, so on and so forth, they are going to want a legal business identification number to attach to your account. If you have an LLC, this is your federal employer identification number, your federal EIN. That is something that you get when you register your LLC. If you have a sole proprietorship, you are going to be giving these publishing platforms your personal social security number. That is the number that is attached to your business entity, because your business entity is you. It's a sole proprietorship. You and your business entity are one and the same when it comes to sole proprietorships. So your business number, in the eyes of the IRS, is going to be your personal social security number. If you have an LLC, there's separation. There's your personal social security number for you, and then there's your federal EIN, the employee identification number for your business. Either way, I recommend that you set up a separate business banking account to track all of the money that either comes in or goes out. This will save you a huge headache later on when taxes roll around. For specific recommendations, talk to a certified accountant or tax advisor. I've founded 4 businesses over the last 11 years, but even my knowledge has its limits. So talk to the professionals, guys. The reason why we want to keep these separate is so that we can prove that it's a separate business entity. If you have an LLC and yet all of your business expenses and income is going through your personal bank accounts, the IRS is probably going to reclassify you as a sole proprietorship instead. But if you have an LLC and you have a separate business banking account, then you won't have the personal and the business intermingled like you would with a sole proprietorship. So if you have any specific questions about that, please do reach out to me. Again, I've been doing business for the last 11 years, so I've just have learned this stuff over time, but please do talk to the professionals when it comes to this money stuff. It's going to save you a lot of headache down the road. And the one thing about publishing platforms that people don't seem to realize is that if you publish a book solely through Amazon, if you use the Amazon KDP publishing platform, your book is not going to be available to libraries or third-party retailers, because Target doesn't buy wholesale from Amazon. Target, when they're buying books, buys wholesale from Ingram. So if you want your books to be available to libraries and third-party retailers outside of Amazon, then Ingram is going to provide you with the widest distribution available. If you just want your book on Amazon and nowhere else, then go with Amazon. But if you want wide distribution, go with Ingram. A lot of people don't realize that ahead of time. And then they want to get their books in bookstores. They want to see their books on shelves in libraries. And then they have to go through the whole process of taking their titles off of Amazon. And you usually have to buy new ISBNs after you take them off of Amazon and then republish them on Ingram in order for them to be available wholesale to libraries and third-party retailers, which is just a headache. So plan ahead of time. Next week for week 35, we're going to go into finding your team. So stay tuned for that. And again, please do hit me up if you have any questions. That's what I'm here for. Take care and good luck.